Okay, this will be a bit shorter than usual, but I kind of have to talk quietly because it's getting late, whatever, so probably the volume's not going to be too good. Also, yes, I know the microphone sucks. I'll get it fixed soon. So, anyways, but this is getting out of control. I'm sorry, this is getting a little bit ridiculous. So, Max Holloway, everyone knows what happened. Flatlines Gaethje, and they pan the camera to Topuria, and he just has this blank expression. It's not a blank expression. It could be fear, it could be concern, it could be so many different emotions. I don't know what's going on inside the guy's head, so I'm not going to speculate. But anyways, people are saying, oh, Ilia Topuria, he's scared of Max Holloway, Max Holloway's going to destroy him. Well, first of all, this reflects that the average MMA fan just doesn't understand what they're watching. And I'm not saying that's a good or a bad thing. I understand people have lives, people have jobs, they have family, they have all this other stuff. And many people like to watch multiple sports. So there's nothing wrong with not knowing so much about MMA. Also, MMA is the most technical sport on earth. So even I don't understand a lot of aspects of grappling. I can break down some sort of advanced jiu-jitsu transition. But anyways, the point is that still, most MMA fans, they're not really good at judging who's going to win, who's not going to win. They just see a flashy knockout and they see this, and they just assume Max Holloway will destroy Topuria. And let's actually think about the matchup logically. Topuria watches Max Holloway. I'm sorry, he watches him. Like, people are saying Max Holloway is a nightmare for Ilia Topuria. Max Holloway is a much easier matchup than Evloev. Evloev has the best wrestling in the division. He's going to be shooting takedowns non-stop. And yes, he doesn't have that much power on the feet. He's not a super dangerous striker. But Topuria is going to be on the back foot because Evloev is going to be shooting takedowns. And he's going to show a different level of wrestling from these other featherweights. And Volkanovski, he had really strong wrestling too. Good grappling, good top control, so Topuria couldn't mess around. And he has elite striking. Holloway just doesn't have the same level of grappling. He still has pillow hands. Yes, I'll still say he has pillow hands. I don't care what anyone says. Max Holloway in general has pillow hands. Okay. And is he going to submit to Topuria? No. Is he going to take down Topuria? No. In fact, Topuria is probably going to take him down. And he doesn't really have a great KO ability. Topuria at featherweight is... Just think about it logically. Topuria at featherweight, he hits harder than Gaethje at lightweight, pound for pound. He hits harder than Gaethje. He's faster than Gaethje. He's more technical than Gaethje, way more composed, way more cerebral, way more patient, way more tactical. He's not going to take unnecessary risks. And yes, he's more powerful and skilled. He's more dangerous, completely. And he doesn't leave himself open, and he's not going to just drop his hands and flail around in the last 10 seconds. He's never going to do that and just get caught. Also, he has a much better chin than Gaethje. So, if you want to compare Topuria and Gaethje, Topuria is basically superior in every conceivable way. Okay. Gaethje doesn't even throw a jab, he literally just wings alternating hooks and throws this leg kick. That's it. He throws the leg kick, occasionally throws the high kick, occasionally throws a rolling thunder, and then he throws alternating hooks, and that's all he has. And yes, what makes him good is his timing, his speed, his precision, his footwork. I understand these things. But still, no comparison, Gaethje and Topuria. There's no comparison. If they were fighting at the same size, Topuria finishes Gaethje earlier and in more dominant fashion than Max Holloway. And Gaethje never touched the belt. Max Holloway was always more technical and skilled than him. Max Holloway is a championship level fighter. And Gaethje was an eternal contender who never got his hands on the belt. And yes, he did kind of show levels in striking. But, I mean, yes, Max Holloway, he's extremely hard to put away. And he has cardio for days. And he's still a very skilled striker. I'm not saying Topuria is better than Holloway in every aspect of MMA. But just like Volkanovski, Topuria doesn't need to worry about being caught. Here's the thing. How many times did Max Holloway hit Gaethje cleanly and rock him and hurt him before actually knocking him out in the 5th round? If Gaethje didn't put his hands down and throw like a maniac, Max Holloway would have won by decision. He'd never get that KO. So it would have been yet another decision win. And the fact is that Holloway was tagging Gaethje with big shots on the chin the entire fight, and he didn't put him out until the last. Like, when you've taken that many concussions, when you've absorbed that much damage, you're gonna go to sleep a lot faster. Especially when someone puts their all into a shot and it lands completely perfectly, and it's a shot you don't see coming. That's why Gaethje was knocked out. It's not because Max Holloway is so powerful. If you actually look at Max, and I'm not taking this as someone who dislikes Max Holloway. I like Max Holloway. He's an entertaining fighter. I'm simply saying the notion that he dominates Ilia Topuria is ridiculous. And I would highly favor Topuria in a fight, but let's actually look at his fights. Okay, he KOs the Korean Zombie, who had absolutely no chin at this point, and just ran into a picture perfect overhand right that Holloway put his entire body weight behind. To be honest, that's not really that impressive. Also, it was in the third round. Also, he already dropped him, so he already had a concussion. And then, as I said, KO'd Gaethje. Allen, he went to a decision against. He lost to Volkanovski 3 times, by the way. Topuria beats him in 2 rounds, I'm just saying. And Topuria flatlines him. That's how he had his chance. Goes to a decision against Kattar, who he's absolutely beating the brakes off of, and yet he still can't put him away. And Topuria is probably a similar level of like toughness and durability as someone like Kattar. I mean, in terms of, actually, let's check this out. Let me just take a detour. I guess there's only been KO'd once. Yeah, so Kattar is super tough to his credit, but what's this? Disable ad blocker. Okay, whatever. I don't even have ad blocker installed. I don't know what they're trying to do. Hijacking my video. Anyways. So Holloway's record. And then let's look at Topuria's record. First of all, Topuria, on multiple occasions, he's eaten flush head kicks. And yes, he got dropped. Well, okay, he didn't eat them, but he got dropped from a head kick that would flatline 95% of featherweights. And then he recovered and went on to win his fights. So, that's showing, yes, there's a certain level of power that we've seen can hurt him. We know what level of power it takes. And that's the power from a flush head kick, landing right on the chin, that drops him. And he didn't even get put out cold. So I'd say you could say Topuria is extremely durable. Also ate flush bombs from Josh Emmett and wasn't rocked a single time in that fight. So that's pretty impressive. And look at the way he flatlined Volkanovski. He didn't TKO Volkanovski. And yes, knocking out Volkanovski is a million times more impressive than knocking out Gaethje. I'm just saying. And he absolutely flatlined Volkanovski. And he didn't hurt Volkanovski a bunch of times. He knocked him out with 1 punch. And here's the thing. No one can deny this. 100% no one can deny this. If Ilia Topuria lands the shot that he landed on Volkanovski clean on the chin against Holloway, Holloway's going to sleep. Holloway's straight up going to sleep. He's straight up getting knocked out. He's getting flatlined in 1 shot. No one at featherweight is taking that punch. And that's just the fact. Okay, and then he fights Josh Emmett, fair enough. But Josh Emmett showed insane toughness. And we know Topuria hits hard because he flatlined Volkanovski, so. Bryce Mitchell, Ajay Herbert absolutely flatlines him. Brian Hall flatlines. Damon Jackson sends this guy to another dimension. And then, apart from that, all his other fights are, okay, 2 decisions. Anyways, why am I bringing this up? Because Topuria is, not only does he have elite striking, not only does he have incredible KO power, but he actually started as a grappler. If you watch all his early fights, he's just shooting takedowns and then playing the jiu-jitsu game, the wrestling game, and then going for submissions. That was him in his early career. Gaethje had a wrestling background, but he's still less than a white belt in jiu-jitsu. He has absolutely no... In the entire fight, did Gaethje ever shoot a takedown? Did he ever mix in a takedown? Did he ever mix to MMA? Or did he just have a straight kickboxing match? He just had a straight kickboxing match. So literally, Max Holloway only needs to focus on the striking when he's fighting Gaethje. But another thing is that, not going back here, but yes, you'll never see Topuria like this, at least against Max Holloway. I'm just saying. And people can say, oh, when that happens, I'm going to come back, or oh, this is going to age badly. Okay, go ahead. It's not going to age badly. this is not going to happen to Topuria. 0% chance. It's much more likely this will be Max Holloway if he fights Topuria. Because also, what happens when a striker faces a really good grappler? Or what happens when a grappler fights another grappler who nullifies his striking? Striking will get a lot worse. Does that make sense? What happens when Oliveira fights Poirier and Gaethje, who are elite strikers with all this power and all this skill? He just walks them down and runs into punches and doesn't mind getting dropped. Now what happens when Charles Oliveira fights Islam Makhachev and Arman Tsarukyan? He becomes totally timid. He's afraid to just let his hands go. And Topuria is a smart fighter. If he's losing the striking exchange to Max Holloway, he can always mix in the takedowns. And Max Holloway, his grappling is on a completely different level to Max Holloway. What did I just say, Max Holloway? Ilia Topuria, I forgot what I said. Anyways, it doesn't matter. Ilia Topuria, his grappling is completely superior to Max Holloway. If Topuria takes him down, I could see him advancing position. I don't know if he's gonna, I don't think he'd finish him on the ground unless he took his back, but he can control him for a good amount of time and give him something to think about. And if Holloway's worried about those takedowns coming at any moment, that's gonna open the power punches for Topuria. And yes, Topuria is way more skilled than Gaethje. I mean, as I said, everything is better. Distance management, footwork, combinations, shot selection, defense, especially not just, and of course fight IQ. It's not comparable. So, Topuria and Gaethje pretty much, yeah, as I said, just not comparable. So, if people think based on this performance that he's going to destroy Ilia Topuria, and I don't know what to say. They're kind of delusional. If you actually objectively look at these fighters and look at their skills, you cannot really justify Max Holloway being a favorite. I mean, I guess you could, but let's wait till the betting line. Let's wait till the odds come out. I guarantee you Topuria is going to be. He should be a bigger favorite, but I think he'll be a minus 150 to minus 200 favorite against Max Holloway. He should be a bigger favorite than that, but. And if Max Holloway is a favorite, I don't know what to say. Then the odds makers have just lost their minds. But anyways, where's the big threat for Max Holloway? He's going to kickbox with Ilia Topuria. He doesn't have that much power. And Topuria, not only is he super durable, but he's extremely defensively sound. And he himself is extremely dangerous in offense. So, super dangerous, super hard to put away. He's got combinations, he's got shot selection, he's got really good footwork. And he also has the grappling to mix in. He also can mix in the grappling. So elite wrestling, elite jiu-jitsu, which Max Holloway doesn't have, by the way. And also elite striking and incredible physical attributes, which are in his power and durability. So I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I think Topuria is gonna wash Max Holloway if they fight. And even so, to actually respond to this notion, just because a fighter is necessarily scared, and I'm not going to speculate, I don't know what Topuria is thinking. I'd be lying if I said I did, but even if a fighter's scared, it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to lose. Tom Aspinall was petrified of Sergey Pavlovich. Aspinall was crapping himself, okay? And what happened? He still flatlined Sergey Pavlovich. George St. Pierre, he said, he's terrified of every single fight. He said he hates the actual fight. He's very scared, but he uses the fear to make himself more alert and sharper. So, anyways, even if he was genuinely scared of Max Holloway, which, come on, that's ridiculous, but at least in my opinion. But I don't know what he's thinking. Maybe he was. But even so, does that mean he's going to lose now? But literally, what's the logic there? What's the logic there? Because as I said, if you just objectively look at their skill sets, it's completely night and day. Also look at Puppy Bender, Adesanya, and look at Alex Pereira. Everyone was saying, Izzy's terrified in the face down. Izzy's going to get knocked out. Look how scared he is. And then he went and flatlined Pereira, worse than Pereira has ever flatlined someone in the UFC. And I say in the UFC because I know Pereira knocked out that bomb in whatever league it was. But anyways, I'm sorry, he still slept in badly. It was bad. And yes, everyone was saying Adesanya was terrified of this guy, but fear didn't result in him losing. Anyways, yes, so in general, Max Holloway does not have an incredible amount of power. Generally, he's not putting guys out with one shot. Okay? There's really just circumstantial things. Usually he's a TKO kind of guy, or TKO if he has a really big flurry of punches. Or yes, I mean, here's the thing. If anyone sits down on a big shot, a big overhand, and punches someone perfectly right on the jaw, and they don't see the shot coming, 90% of UFC fighters can get a one-punch knockout. It's just that people don't. I mean, you can see this happening at the lower down in the rankings, okay? If any fighter hits another fighter, they put all their body weight behind it, they have good rotation, the other person doesn't see it coming, so they're not bracing for impact, and they land a big wind-up overhand right on the jaw, then yes, most UFC fighters can put out other UFC fighters with that. It has nothing to do with being super powerful or having one-punch knockout power. And yes, no one's saying Max has one-punch knockout power, but people are saying, oh, Max is underrated power, he's actually super powerful, he's gonna knock out Topuria easy. Come on. This is number one nonsense. And yes, alright, why am I on Gamrot's page? Because Gamrot also got a KO. Gamrot also KO'd someone with punches. And Gamrot is one. He has like the least intimidating aura at lightweight. No one would think of this guy has power when they think of Gamrot. And yet he still knocks someone out with punches. So, at this level, anyone can flatline another person with the right circumstances. But what makes fighters like Topuria stand out is, I mean, yes, Topuria has incredible accuracy, so he's landing these perfect punches. And every time that happens, his opponent will completely go to sleep. But Topuria is also landing lancing punches, and he's really hurting people, and he's dropping them. Just rewatch the Josh Emmett fight. Topuria hits him with some shots that they don't have so much power behind him, and they're not landing super cleanly, and yet they still drop Josh Emmett and do tons of damage. It's in those moments when you don't land perfectly where the difference in power is going to matter a lot. But yes, in ideal circumstances, of course, everyone has one-punch knockout power. I mean, if you even want to call it that. But, yeah, I don't know. Just looking at this matchup, it's just kind of ridiculous. No. Topuria destroys this guy. Most likely. But anyways, we'll see.